Hi everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it may be for you. Today we finish our discussion of social media. Last lecture we talked about social media strategy in general, how to devise a social media plan, the style guide, things like that. Today we are going to look at best practices for specific social media platforms. Not every one, it's impossible to cover them all, but the key ones. I want to also give you a heads up that the email marketing assignment is due at the end of next week, so April 25th. I will post details about it today as well, and I will also post a tutorial about MailChimp, the platform that I would like you to use for that assignment, a short tutorial. I mentioned last time that the practical aspect of this class is related to developing your website, practicing SEO, a little bit of Google Analytics, email marketing for sure. We don't do a lot of practical work, a lot of, hands-on work with social media because we do a lot of that in the nonprofit class. And many of you, some of you have already taken it. Many of you are going to take it. We also have done social media in BA 499, which some of you have completed already. So we don't do a lot of hands-on social media in this class just to avoid that redundancy. Okay, we have to start with Facebook because that is where the majority of businesses start, and that's where a lot of the spending is happening as well. We're spending most of our social media budgets on Facebook, and I'll show you more about that later on. By the way, even if your business opts to use Instagram the most, it still needs to have a Facebook account because that is how you can do the paid advertising through your Facebook. Facebook's users are very demographically diverse in terms of age and geographic location and income. And the thing that we talk about a lot on Facebook is the algorithm, the mysterious algorithm. Why does one person's post appear in your news feed and another doesn't? Or more importantly for us, why does our businesses' posts appear for some people and not for others? So there's a number of factors. First of all, as a Facebook user, your past engagement with whomever is making that post plays a big role. So if it's a brand or a person that you engage with a lot, you're liking and commenting on their stuff all the time, more stuff from them is going to appear for you. How recent the post is, the type of content. So if it's an original post rather than a shared post, that's better. If it's video, that's better than images, and images are better than text. And then how popular the post is. The more people engage with it, the more people it shows up for. And whether it was posted from a personal account or a business account is key. Facebook really handicaps business posts. Okay, so the next thing I would like to show you is what the interface for creating an ad on Facebook looks like. So when you go to Facebook and you click your ads manager, it opens up this account overview, and you can go to a campaigns tab that will have the different campaigns you've managed for all of the business pages that you manage. So I have managed several business pages in the past, still do, and this will have all of the campaigns. When you want to create a new ad, you click create, and let's see, and you can go through the entire process from the beginning, which starts with choosing an objective. I'm just going to say brand awareness. You can select to have an A/B test or not. You set a budget. And then this is the neat part. You can begin to target in a very detailed way. So you can target based on geographic location, age, gender, and then based on what we call psychographics, people's interests and behaviors. So you can choose, you can pick, for example, you can say, I want people who are interested in business education, and, narrow it down further from there. And you can even exclude people. So you can exclude people who are interested, for example, in graduate business education, because that's not what would be relevant here. You can also exclude certain languages, and so on and so forth. And then from there, you can choose whether you want the same name for your business that's on your business page, and then you can choose an ad format. It can be an image or a video, or it can be a carousel. And, different design elements like that. You can certainly have it be a story. You can add a URL, and so on and so forth. So it's a very powerful interface. It is not the same as simply boosting a post that you already have. You can still do that. That's useful to increase engagement with your page, but creating an ad from the ground up like that is a different process. Another thing that is neat that I wanted to show you is the flip side of this. When I showed you interests and preferences in the targeting, how does Facebook know this stuff? Well, you can also look as a user. You can go to your Facebook ads preferences and see what Facebook knows or thinks that it knows about you. So if I go to that page, I can look at these different categories like the business and industry, news and entertainment, hobbies and activities, and it shows, Facebook will tell me this is what we think we're interested in and you're interested in based on your interactions. So in the business categories, I would say this is pretty accurate. It has some of the things I'm interested in, like interior design, a lot of business related stuff, entrepreneurship, small business, startup companies. In the news and entertainment, it's guessed fairly well. It has the Wall Street Journal, it has Harvard Business Review, it has women's health, higher ed stuff, hobbies and activities. It has stuff related to litter box and cats, which we do have cats, gardening, nature, and then travel. It does have a lot of the places that I am interested in or have traveled to. You can also change your own ad settings here. So you can tell it to not give you certain ad topics. You can tell it to not tell your friends whether you've liked a page that's running an ad, so kind of not use you as a spokesperson for advertising if you don't want to be used that way. So it's a little known feature of Facebook that I encourage you to explore. Okay, Instagram is related to Facebook because they are owned by the same company. If you want to advertise on Instagram, you actually use the same exact platform that I just showed you to design your ad and to set up the target audience and all of that stuff. You do it right on Facebook for Instagram. Instagram has a little bit younger demographic. What's unique about it is that it was made for phones. So after they launched it, they did make it possible to view your content on a desktop or a laptop, but it really is made and optimized for phones. It's neat because you can have what you post on Instagram automatically show up on other platforms like Facebook and Twitter. That's not always the best thing to do, but you can do it. In some cases, it makes sense. Brands right now on Instagram really like to focus on video. That's where they're getting the most traction. And influencers are used extensively on Instagram. Instagram also has this neat feature, which is kind of on Facebook also, but in a different form, but much neater on Instagram. It has these shoppable posts. If you have a business account on Instagram, you can set up posts that have this little shopping bag icon, and if you click it, you're able to view the products. Your followers are able to view clickable products that, if they click them, they can take them to a link where they can buy the product right there. So even though one of the problems with Instagram is you can't put, hyperlinks right on your post text, right on your caption, you can have these shoppable posts for business pages, which I think are really cool. Okay, Twitter. So Twitter is to me, it's a world of its own. Twitter does not make a distinction between business and personal accounts, so that's a little bit different. It's you can, however, set up promoted accounts and promoted tweets, so you can advertise your account to come up as a suggested account for people and encourage them to follow you. It's an open platform, meaning everyone can see everyone else's tweets, even if they don't follow them. If you do follow an account, the tweets show up in your newsfeed, but you can still look up any account and see their tweets. Twitter is also where the hashtag was born and popularized. The thing about Twitter is tweets are very short, only 280 characters. I always recommend that you use it to post short stuff that's meant to be short. However, you can also use it to take your followers to somewhere else where they will see longer content. So if you can post a link, for example, to Facebook or a shortened link to YouTube, and then take them to the longer content that you want them to see. The thing about Twitter also is that people don't mind if you post 10, 15 times a day. We usually say 10, whereas on Facebook, probably only want to post once a day. On Instagram, 2 to 3 times a day is okay. Wendy's is the classic example that we all refer to when we talk about what you can do on Twitter. So Wendy's discovered a few years ago that they can be really snarky and almost edgy with their followers and also with their competition on Twitter. It all started when this person, Carter Wilkerson, tweeted at them and said, how many retweets for a year of free chicken nuggets? And they just made up a number. They said 18 million, and he kind of bit, he wanted to take that dare, and he started, trying to get retweeted. He was, I think, retweeted by Ellen DeGeneres, and I mean, it was a huge thing. And it really took off. Now, Wendy's after that started bickering almost with McDonald's. So McDonald's posted something and their link was not working. Wendy's tweeted back, when the tweets are as broken as the ice cream machine. And they kept, it went on and on. They poked fun at McDonald's. They poked fun at, In-N-Out. And their followers kind of they got the joke and they loved it and they wanted more of it, and they still do. So Wendy's, I encourage you to explore what Wendy's has been doing on Twitter. Okay, Pinterest. So Pinterest is unique in that it has a very specific demographic. Pinterest users tend to be more female than male, and just more female than all of the other social media platforms, and they tend to have higher incomes. Let me show you over here. The way that the Pinterest feed is organized is very different from all of the other social platforms. Everything is organized on boards, so almost like an art board or an idea board. It is extremely visual, and when you click one of the boards, it's in a grid rather than in a vertical field. And so it is very artsy and very unique in that way. Besides having your own page with boards on it and with your own posts on it, another thing that you can do with Pinterest is have exciting visual content on your website as a brand with a pin it icon that people can click and then pin whatever you have on your website onto their own Pinterest account, onto their own Pinterest boards, for it to be, repinned, for it to be pinned, reshared like that. YouTube, like I said last time, is considered a social media platform. Now, it's also used like a repository where brands post their videos and then link to them from Twitter and from Facebook and embed them on their websites. So it integrates really well with all of the other platforms, but it also is a social medium in its own right. YouTube, a lot of the information about YouTube advertising in your book don't get it confused. It is not advertising using your own platform. It talks about how to be an advertiser using other people's videos. So how to be an advertiser on other people's videos or get other people to advertise on your videos. So that's a little bit different from how we've discussed advertising on some of the other social media platforms. But the other thing that you can do on YouTube is be a sponsor for someone else's YouTube channel. So if someone has millions of followers and you don't, like this guy right here, Ryan's World, who my nephews are all obsessed with. This is a little boy who started out testing toys and posting about them on YouTube with sponsored posts, and then now has his own line of toys. You can be sponsored. Ryan and Ryan's World are actually sponsored by Walmart, for example. So Walmart gets this advertising on Ryan's channel. Now, if you use YouTube advertising as a brand, you need to be careful, because you don't always, unless you're a sponsor like that, you don't always have full control over where your videos are going to show up, where your ads, what videos your ads are going to show up on. So they might show up on videos that are not a good match for your brand, or that end up scandalous and have to be removed. So corporations like to be, very vigilant about that and try to specify to the extent that they can where their videos are going to show up, but it is not a foolproof process. Another thing is, success on YouTube is all about the number of views, and Google is always secretive. Google owns YouTube, of course, and they're always secretive about what exactly constitutes a view. We know that it doesn't have to be the entire video, but nobody knows exactly how many seconds, or if you can skip around or what. But still extremely useful and considered the second biggest social media platform after Facebook. Okay, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very business to business, but also very consumer to business, the other way around. A lot of you have LinkedIn accounts. A lot of businesses also have LinkedIn accounts. But the idea is it is very business oriented rather than consumer oriented. As a business, or really as an individual, your goal on LinkedIn is to try to be a thought leader. That is how you want to present yourself. But you can certainly also advertise. There's a robust advertising platform. Most businesses do not dedicate a huge amount of their advertising budget to LinkedIn, but it's still a sizable platform. I want to show you how the targeting on LinkedIn works. If there is audience targeting, but if you look at the criteria, it is extremely business and career oriented. So things like the job seniority, the years of experience, what industries people are interested in, things like that. Very different from Facebook targeting, for example. Number of people, company size, job titles, all of it is very business and career oriented like that. And then finally, I want to say a few words about TikTok. So your book covers Snapchat. That's important, read it. But Snapchat is really becoming less and less important, and companies are just not spending as much on it. And everyone is talking about TikTok. It is the newest important platform, I should say. And it actually now has more users than Snapchat, believe it or not. So TikTok, I don't know, looping videos, montaged in a weird way over music, visual effects that you can do. If you visit it for the first time, at least when I did, it seemed a little bit chaotic, a little bit nonsensical. But companies have actually started to do things on it. Some of those brands are brands with younger audiences, and they're kind of, hip and with the times. Brands like Chipotle, Guess. But you know what? Some brands that you would not think would be on TikTok are actually doing things on there. If you explore a little bit, you'll see that the World Health Organization has actually had, very trending videos on there. Some of them related to COVID and some of them just inspirational videos. UNICEF, the UN, has been doing a lot on TikTok, believe it or not. Okay, I want to show you very quickly how we, this was surprising when it started happening, but in 2019 we all saw the trend coming, but 2019 it finally happened. Social media advertising had higher spend than print advertising, and I think that the trend is just going to continue. Brands are going to be spending more and more on social media advertising relative to other types of advertising like print, maybe even paid search, and I think that one day it might overtake TV advertising. Okay, the last thing I wanted to show you is the spending on the different social media platforms. So Facebook is still number one. Brands spend more on Facebook than on any other social media platforms. Instagram is number two, but it's not even close to Facebook. And then YouTube and LinkedIn comes next. They come next. They're kind of neck and neck, followed by Twitter, and then all of the others.